streaming live on Facebook and YouTube simultaneously, and I hope that we're gonna have a nice conversation. I hope that we're gonna get Ramon, who is one of the longest running fans of the West Academy and who is in Miami, been working for the Cheesecake Factory for a while, and yesterday had an interview for a manager of the Cheesecake Factory in South Beach. And I don't know if you know anything about South Beach, but this is my favorite place in the world. I live in Vegas for so many years, but I was back to South Beach every spring break because there is no place like South Beach. And yeah, I love this place. There is nothing compared to South Beach. Anyway, I hope that Ramon got the interview crushed. And let's see, let's hear from him. I am hoping that he will join us. Let me just get on the live stream so I can comment with you. Also, I'm gonna need my glasses because I don't see nothing without glasses anymore, which is unfortunate, but that's what's happening when you get old. Good. Guys, I want to share something with you and I really need your input. I've been working a lot lately on creating a new course, and I will be posting now a lot about restaurant culture. It turns out that managers and ownership does not understand how important the restaurant culture is in our business. All right. So I got a lot of calls. Hey, we need to train our people. We need this and this and this. So what we, every training is specific to the company, to the restaurant that they require it. And I always ask, should we do this? Should we start the service? Should we take the order? Should we greet the guests? Should we do this and this and this and this? Yeah, we do everything basic. All right. Leave a slot for culture. What culture? For the restaurant culture. We need to train your team to build the right culture. Together with your management, they need to have the right culture for your restaurant to succeed. You know what? This is no. We need them to know how to greet the guests, how to take the order, this and like that. No, I don't care if they know how to greet the guests and take the order. If you don't teach them culture, there will be no result. There will be nothing. Even if those people that we teach right now to be really top waiters, great. But if you don't build the right culture, those guys, those girls, they will quit, they will leave because they are not feeling safe, they are not feeling appreciated, they are not feeling comfortable, whatever the case might be. Maybe they're feeling bullied by the kitchen, by the management, by another waiter, because there are so many cases when there is a waiter in the restaurant that try to bully everybody else and disregard everybody else. Why would you want to work here? Even if you make good money, you still will say, you know what, man, the management doesn't take care of that. I'm done. I quit. I'm finished. And they will leave. So I'm trying to teach that, and I'm trying to explain to the management and to the ownership, and they just resist even the thought that we should spend some time teaching culture. And it's so wrong. So I want to start this, and I'm going to start it. I already started it. I'm going to be posting a lot about culture. I will be explaining why culture is more important than skills, more important than knowledge, more important than system. Culture is what makes restaurants great, grow, expand into not restaurant, but restaurant chains, make $1 million of the ownership. Obviously, not every owner understand that. They don't want to spend money training restaurant culture, but once we explain to these people the right way to run a restaurant, I believe that we change that. And I believe that for the people that work in the restaurant business, is so important to feel safe, to feel appreciated, to feel like they're the number one thing running, pushing this restaurant to success. A lot of owners don't give a damn about their stuff and they want to have a successful restaurant. I mean, how is that going to happen? It's not going to happen. If you don't put the stuff first, if you don't make sure that your waiters, and not just the waiters, but everybody else in the restaurant feels safe to express their problems to the management or to not be bullied by the kitchen, by the management, by the other staff members. Even not bullied, okay? Just gossiping behind somebody's back destroys the culture in a restaurant, makes the team not together but separates in different little teams, and everybody starts fighting and gossiping against each other. This is not going to work if you want to sustain success. I don't care how skillful and how knowledgeable your waiters are. So what do you think about it? When was the last time you got bullied by anybody? When was the last time you got yelled by a management? A lot of managers, and listen guys, I know managers has a lot of stress, okay? Because they're between the staff and the ownership. They gotta do good, you know, they gotta produce results and everything like that. Sometimes we as waiters really deserve to somebody to be upset at us, but we never deserve somebody to scream at us, especially not profanities and not threats and not like that. This is just unacceptable on any level, okay? If somebody brings you to the level that you cannot hold your nerves and start screaming profanities and threatening and blah blah blah, that means that either you are incapable of doing your job, or this person is incapable of doing their job and learning and growing and improving. So you just gotta let them go. It's much better to let them go than abuse them and try to put them down and try to, you know, vent off on their. Anyway, this is unacceptable, and that's why culture is so important. And what I say is, culture in the restaurant cannot be built by the management, all right? But it can be broken, and usually is the reason why culture goes down and the restaurant goes down. Because the manager is blind to the gossiping, to the bullying, to the laziness of some people, to the undiscipline some people show, right? If they keep a blind eye to all those factors, everybody else will start doing the same thing, and the culture goes down. So management cannot build the culture. The culture is built, by my opinion, by the top waiters, but the head waiters. They are the one that build the culture, because they are the one in contact with everybody else constantly, and everybody else is looking up to them. And if they, or some of them, is complete rotten apple, and the management doesn't, you know, take care of that, it doesn't address that, it doesn't try to put them in line with the culture of the restaurant, with everybody else, slowly, this little rotten spot will destroy the whole apple. Like, that's a fact. It's nothing you can tell me against that. So management don't build culture. They can set the rules, they can set the lines, the red lines that should not be crossed. But the waiters, the head waiters, are the one that have to implement all those rules and make sure that everybody follows them, and that's how you build culture. Let's see what's happening here. Emmanuel from Nigeria, the great teacher. I am from Nigeria. What's up, Emmanuel? Pozdravie. Bettina says, hello, good day, sir. Good day, Bettina. What's going on with you? How is the Ganesh says also, I'm really surprised why the YouTube is maybe you don't do it automatically. Maybe YouTube do it automatically and translate that to Bulgarian, which is very strange. Anyway, um, greetings, guys. What's going on with you? We have no comments on Facebook. Like always, we are live on Facebook and YouTube simultaneously. Let me take this like that. Okay. All right. Good. I, I, I really believe, and it's my opinion because I've seen it. I've seen it so many times. I've seen it so many times. People get bullied by coworkers or by management, and a lot of times by the kitchen. But I will say we should give the kitchen a little bit more leash, little bit more leeway, because who else they can scream at? Who else they can blame? They cannot do nothing. Those guys are stuck over there in that little kitchen, stressing, cooking, and all they see is the waiters. Of course, they're gonna vent off at the waiters. I'm not saying this is okay. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying this is okay, and I'm not saying that we should take all the garbage that the kitchen give us, but we should be more understandable that the chef has nobody else to blame, has nobody else to yell. He cannot go to the outside and vent off at somebody else. He sees you and you are the one that made a mistake and he needs to fix it. Of course he's going to be upset and say something about it because there is nobody else he can scream at. So I always put myself in a situation, in a position, in their shoes, and I'm way much more understandable. But if a manager comes to me and scream at me, I will address him immediately, right there on the spot. Man, get in line, get yourself together, don't scream at me. It's not appropriate, it's not professional, and it's not human, okay? So if you got something to say, I can come with you in the office and you can say it there. Make sure you don't scream again. You can address anything that I did wrong, and if you want me to do it right, it's better to teach me than screaming at me. All right? Especially not on the floor, in front of the guests, in front of everybody else. Just absolutely unacceptable. I would just say that. I don't care. You want to fire me? Go ahead, man. Fire me. I don't want to work for you anyway because you're just not professional. I want to work for somebody that's professional and not trying to put people down, but trying to lift people up and trying to help them do a better job. Tell something to a manager that is behaving like an ass. Tell him exact those words. I prefer to work for somebody that not putting people down, but lifting people up and trying to help them do a better job. So everything runs nice and smoothly, and the guests are happy, and you make more profit for your ownership, and everybody's happy, including you. Yeah, this is when you get to the position that you can choose your job, all right? Not when you are starting and things like that, which doesn't mean that you should accept bad treatment. But you still have to hold back a little bit when you are starting your job and you're at the beginning, and finding a next job is not going to be so easy. Yeah, you will make more mistakes. You're going to piss people off, and you're going to get a little bit more harsh words and harsh treatment. It's normal, especially if you're the new waiter, waitress. Expect that, all right? But make sure that you stand your ground and ask for proper treatment, right? Just not the way I just explained. When you're a top dog and you don't worry about losing the job, just go for it. Bettina says, waiting for a call back from interview. Good luck, first of all. You said that you're moving to fine dining, you're not running around too much. Everybody should do that, guys. Bettina, was working in a place where it's a lot of running, and usually if you work in a casual dining restaurant, upscale restaurant, You work on more tables, you work on more guests, you don't have much help, you're running a lot, and the checks are smaller, so you don't make so much tip, right? Um, which reminds me, and the fine dining is a completely opposite. Okay, you don't run so much, the checks, because the dish costs way much more money, the wine costs way much more money, the average check is much higher. In United States, that means you're working less, but you're making way much more money because the check is much higher. um, so I always say that culture, the right culture, is the printing money machine for tip and revenue. Because if your staff is happy and safe, of course, train also. Okay, I'm not saying just address the culture, but what the staff is doing doesn't matter. No, no, no. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that with the training, we need to teach culture as well, because that's what's going to print money for the waiters and for the restaurant. But for you, make sure that you're trying to grow to a fine dining waiter, waitress. This is where the good life is. This is where the good money is. And everybody should strive to get there. That's why I push all the time fine dining course, because I know that this is where the big change in everybody's life happens. All right, so I was working for a mom and pop's restaurant. I was working for a upscale restaurant. I was working for some normal casual dining restaurant in a five-star hotels, and I know how much more you work in those places for probably twice as less money than if you move to the fine dining restaurant and you are working twice as less and you're making twice as much money. So the difference is just incredible. Not to mention the self-esteem you get from working at a top restaurant. You know, I know right now how Harindo feels, because working at Nikki Beach gives you this absolute confidence that you have achieved the top dog status. You know, now he's a top dog status. Okay, yeah, not in the company, because he needs to grow now within the company, but he's already working on Nikki Beach. And because I know what kind of person he is, I know he's gonna build within the company and become the top dog there. All right, now he's the new guy. They might get kicked, and they might get yelled, and they get mad, bullied a little bit. But you put your head down, you work, you learn, and you implement, and you grow, and you grow, and you grow, and eventually you're gonna become the top dog in a top property. And there is nothing more beautiful than that. Like being a waiter, being the top waiter in the top company in your whatever region and in your market. Man, there is no feeling like that. I'm telling you guys. Yeah, and I know it because I was working at the top job in Las Vegas, being a banquet waiter in the Venetian. Back in the day, the Venetian was the biggest money-making machine. If you work in banquets in Venetian, you can make $1,000 a day. I'm talking about 20 years ago. Now they tell me they make $2,000 a day, but everything is so much more expensive. Back in the days, 20 something years ago, I was working banquets at the Venetian, and there were days that I will make $960. Incredible. Yes, you're gonna work a lot of hours, 16 hours, 14 hours, something like that, but you're making tons of money when everything was so much cheaper. Yeah, and having this job was just such a joy for me, because I was dreaming to get this job for years. And then when I get it and I start making this money, I was like, man, look at this. This is a completely different life. You can work 1 year and you can save, back in the days, enough money to buy yourself a house, cash, to buy yourself an apartment, cash, for 1 year. It was crazy. Now it's not so much because the prices, went way up, but you still make good money. You work for the Venetian banquets, you make, forget 2,000, you still make $1,000 a month, a day, and you work, let's say, 10 banquets a month, because you don't work. Okay, some people work every day banquet. I don't want to do that. I was not doing that, but I work 10 banquets, 15 banquets max a month, and you go home and you make $10,000. $10,000 is enough money to live a beautiful life, even right now in Vegas, although it's way much more expensive. But back in the days, boy, I was golfing, playing tennis, sitting at the coffee shop, talking to my friends. It was amazing. Partying, everything. Yeah, a lot of fun. All right. I see that we don't get much action today. Nobody's saying anything, nobody's commenting, and nobody's asking anything. So I would say we should close the live stream. But yes, guys, let me know what you think on the culture. All right. I want to hear from you. What do you think about restaurant culture? How would you rate the culture in your own restaurant? And would you like everybody to be on the same page and the culture to be so safe and so comfortable that you can actually focus on doing your job perfectly? Because that's what right culture means. That means that you feel safe and comfortable and not worrying about anything aside from taking care of your guests. I gotta put this yeah, I gotta put this on reels and stories, because I don't think I ever said it like that before. But that's what it is. That's what it is. The right culture allow the servers to focus on the guest and not on the side problems. Good. All right. Thank you for being here, Bettina. Best of luck with the interview. I hope you crush it, and I hope that you get the job. I'm looking forward to hear from you. Thank you, Ona Emanuel, and Ganesh Swami. Bettina says, great culture at my job, just not enough money. Yeah, man, listen. What I finish all my live streams with: work hard and make sure you make a lot of money. I do not accept a job that I will work hard and not make enough money. No, I'm not scared from working hard. Don't get me wrong. I want to go to work and work hard, but I want to know that every step I make, every action I take makes me more and more money, so I can work even harder. If you work hard, no matter what culture is, no matter what beautiful everything you have, but you're not making enough money to live a beautiful life, it does not make sense. Does not make sense. Good. Go get the big bucks in the fine dining, Bettina. All right. Good job. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Stay out of trouble. Work hard. Make sure you make good money. Make sure you make a lot of money, man. Our job is hard, and we are working hard, and we need to make money. It's not worth it out of that. Go to be a seller in a shop, and they don't work as much, and they're just basically sitting all day, and they're making a salary. If that's what your job gives you, just the salary, no tip, no nothing, forget it. I don't want to work waiter if I'm not making tip. No chance. I'll see you tomorrow, guys. Peace.